Australia is recognised globally as a country with a unique and vast biodiversity. However, Australia is also internationally recognised as a leader in human-induced mass extinction, with nearly half of mammal extinctions in the past 2 decades occurring in Australia. In order to assess and protect Australia's biodiversity, species of flora and fauna can be listed under the EPBC Act of 1999 as being a species of national significance. This is through being listed under the following categories: critically endangered, endangered or vulnerable. In Australia, there are over 1,700 species that are known to be threatened or at risk of extinction. It is important to note that this number is underestimated and only mammals, birds and amphibians are well represented, whilst reptiles, fish, invertebrates and plants are poorly represented. It is estimated that there may be 22,000 species that need to be listed. For species listed under the EPBC, a recovery plan is a common federal management tool implemented to try and improve or stabilise the status of a species. They define threats, recommend management activities, provide criteria to downlist species and include cost estimates and a timeline. There are 3 types of recovery plans: the traditional single species, multi-species recovery plans, and more recently a move towards ecosystem recovery plans. So how successful are recovery plans in improving the status of a species? Before this can be considered, it is important to remember that there is a bias in which taxons receive recovery planning, with once again invertebrates, plants and reptiles being the most poorly represented. Additionally, species with the greatest level of threat did not necessarily have a higher proportion of recovery plans in place. Of the species with recovery plans in place, success is certainly not guaranteed. It has been found that the presence of a recovery plan did not significantly improve or stabilise species status compared to species without a recovery plan. As recovery plans are assessed every 5 years, it is possible that this is more indicative of a lack of short-term success. There is also a lack of proper accounting for management actions, which makes the efficiency of recovery planning very difficult to assess. Finally, at a Commonwealth level, recording of management actions is not transparent. One major difference in the success of species management has been seen in areas that are strictly protected. This indicates that if threats are eliminated, conservation success can be achieved. In order to overcome a lack of assessment of management actions, a 5-stage approach can be taken to ensure that management plans are properly assessed. These outcomes need to be measured objectively and can be used to establish a baseline for a recovered state. Governments need to implement a central management system so that recovery actions are properly documented and recorded. As always, more funding and transparency is required for success. Finally, as so many of Australia's threatened species are affected by loss, degradation or fragmentation of habitat, invasive species and inappropriate fire regimes, elimination of these threats also needs to be a priority.